Please, 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 public service announcement. Don't put solar in your house. One of you asked, actually, I get this question all the time. If I'm going to sell my home in the next few years, should I or can I put solar on my roof? Is my home going to go up in value by adding solar? And I know that every single solar salesman that comes into the neighborhood is going to tell you it adds value. It's going to save you money. You're not going to pay as much. Costs of electricity are going up. It makes sense for you to put solar on your house. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Don't do it. Don't do it, especially if you want to sell. I've seen solar on houses hurt sellers later when they go to sell. They try to sell the house and then buyers skip over it because it has a solar payment, whether it's a lease or a loan, because they are not sure how it was installed. They're worried about the damage to the roof. But most of the time, the biggest issue is that they're going to have to assume a loan or assume a lease that is 20, 25, or 30 years long. And they're nervous about that because energy rates have dropped or because energy rates have come back down. The price of a solar costs more than what it would cost to just buy energy straight from the electricity company. So there's no savings. They don't own the solar panels. The seller is now asking the buyer to assume that loan. And here's what's happened. I see it all the time where sellers have to pay off that loan or that lease in order to get their home sold to buy it. Now, a lot of solar companies are going to hate me for saying this because their whole business model revolves around put it on your house. It's going to last 20, 25, 30 years. Buyers are going to love it. But the truth is, in the reality of the market, when we go to sell homes, that's just not what happens. It ends up hurting the seller. Now, one difference though, is if you buy the solar and you pay it off, that will help the value of your home. Now, it may not help the value of your home equal to the amount you paid. If you put $70,000 of solar on a $300,000 house, it's not going to add enough value. If you put $25,000 of solar on a $500,000 house, it may actually add enough value. So you may want to consult with us before you go putting solar in your home to make sure, but keep in mind, when you're buying solar and someone's trying to sell you on the utilization of that solar for 20 plus years, think about how often the technology has changed even the last 5 or 10 years. Think how much better the current solar panels are than the ones 5 or 10 years ago. So by putting that on there, you have to really think, is this something that can be still relevant and usable and in good shape and considered to be high quality 20 years from now? It's probably going to be at the end of its extended life. The answer to, should I get solar on my home? Will it add value to my home is really what you're asking. And the short answer is no, it will actually hurt you. It will cause you to not be able to sell your home as quickly. It will cause you to not be able to sell your home for as much money. And it will cause you to have to potentially eat the cost of that solar when you go to sell in a few years. And many times, I can't tell you how often, somebody put solar on the house that they were thinking about selling, and then they sell it 6 months, a year, 2 years later. They've barely gotten any value from it, but they're ready to sell the house and they lose money by having to eat the cost of that. So please, 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 public service announcement. Don't put solar in your house unless you've really taken this into consideration, unless you're ready to buy out the solar completely. Don't do a payment plan. Don't expect that a buyer is going to assume it. Don't expect that a buyer is going to take over the lease. Sometimes they do, but it's very hard. It's very complex. It's very unlikely. I'm Matt Templeton with the Templeton Real Estate Group at Keller Williams in Dallas. Hope we can help you in the future.